Good afternoon, it's meteorologist Michael Fecka. Welcome back to the afternoon streaming show we do here every day at 2:30. We'll start off with a look at our forecast and then transition over to our latest news headlines this afternoon with Jamie and Rob. So stick that through the whole thing and you'll get your fill of news and weather. But what are we watching in terms of the forecast here? Well, right now it's mostly sunny to partly cloudy out there across the tri-state, and we're pretty dry. Some folks maybe pick up an isolated sprinkle this afternoon, but that'll be about it. Outside of that, we are just going to continue to see this heat build up through the end of the work week and into this weekend before drought and fire risks begin to take over, as we will also be remaining dry during that time frame. So you combine the heat, low humidities, lack of rainfall, and that's how you kind of set up that drought and fire risk. But currently, temperatures have warmed up a good bit already. We've actually already met our average high for the day. It's 85 degrees right now. We'll likely warm up to nearly 90 over the next few hours. Some spots already reaching that mark. 89 there in Greenville, 88 in Harrisburg. Cooler to our northeast up towards Washington, only at around 82 degrees this afternoon. But here's a look at our current setup. We've got high pressure anchored just off to our east, and that's going to stay there for the next several days. It's just going to be persistently dry and kind of stagnant. Not a whole lot of movement in and out of the tri-state here. So here's a look at our Doppler radar. You can see we are really just staying dry here, maybe picking up on again a sprinkle or two possible this afternoon, but not expecting much in the way of any sort of widespread rain or anything heavy at all. Our model also depicting that stray chance, but will dry out pretty quickly after sunset and will stay mostly clear overnight tonight. And that'll lead us into a beautiful day for our Friday. We're looking at wall-to-wall sunshine. Once again, temperatures climb back up into the upper 80s to lower 90s for our highs. And then that'll continue to get even warmer through the weekend. I'll show you those weekend temperatures in one moment. But tonight we'll drop down into the upper 50s to lower 60s under calm, clear, and cool conditions, and then right back up to around 90 by tomorrow afternoon. Winds will become more easterly, and you'll also notice that they'll start to generally shift out of the south a little bit more as we go through the weekend, and that's why we start to see those temperatures rise several more degrees. So by Saturday, we add a degree. It'll be 91, but by Sunday, we're already going to be nearing that mid-90 mark, 94 for Sunday afternoon, with mostly sunny skies and very little rain chances. Now, we'll continue to warm up here. The Climate Prediction Center outlook for our temperature, 17th through the 21st, showing a very good chance of remaining above average for our temperatures. And looking at the temperature trend, we'll hang out in the 90s, not only for the weekend, but also as we go through much of next week. Hard pressed to find any temperature readings that are going to drop below that red line. Our average high around 85, our average low sitting at around 60. So we'll be above both of those averages, especially by the time we get into this weekend and into next week. So hopefully you didn't jump the gun and pack up any of your short sleeves or shorts yet, because you're definitely going to be needing them through next week. Now, the one positive is that while we're going to be heating up, it doesn't look like the dew points are going to be as bad as what we're used to. So typically, when we get temperatures in the 90s, like what we had back in July, we also had humidity levels all the way up into that muggy or even stifling category. So that's what causes a lot of heat-related illnesses to kind of be on the increase, which is why we have those heat advisories that go into effect. But because we don't have those humidity values up that high, we're not too concerned with triple-digit heat index values. Our temperatures really should feel about the same as where they are. And you can see we'll be in that dry and pleasant category through much of next week. So if there is one positive about kind of this heat wave headed into the end of summer, is that at least it's a dry heat. It's not that sticky heat that no one likes. And precipitation wise, really not seeing much here. The outlook 17th through the 21st showing slightly below average or around average for this time of year, which really isn't a lot of rain in general. So expect dry conditions to continue here, which isn't great because we already have that drought that's ongoing, not only here in the tri-state, but across much of the U.S. The Mountain West really taking the brunt of it, but here in the Ohio River Valley, we've got some moderate drought being observed in the tri-state currently. This is actually a brand new updated drought monitor. This comes out every Thursday morning. We've even picked up some severe drought just off to our west in southern Illinois, and then some areas still just abnormally dry. But it looks like the worst of these drought conditions are hanging out across western Kentucky and southern Illinois, and especially right up and along the Ohio River there. So Expect that to get a little bit worse here. And then with fire danger, we don't really have too much in the way of wind, so that shouldn't be a problem. But we are starting to see many, many burn bans go into play. Several of our counties are already in a burn ban, and I can actually pull up what counties are within that burn ban in just one moment. But looking at our precipitation chances for the next several days, you can see that they pretty much flatline through the middle of next week with not a whole lot of opportunity to come our way. So looking at the longer range European model, high pressure hanging around here through the end of the work week, Friday, wall-to-wall sunshine, no issues there. Originally, we were thinking maybe we'd have a chance for a spot shower Sunday night, but it looks like that has kind of just fizzled out, really. It looks like maybe that stays off to our northeast with very little opportunity here in the tri-state continuing this weekend and into next week. So nothing major, pretty much just stuck in this very, very stagnant weather pattern. So there's a look at your 7-day forecast. Just to wrap it up in a little bow for you, the biggest changes here that we're going to see over the next 7 days is that it's just going to continue to warm up. We'll top out in the mid-90s by the end of this weekend and into the start of the work week. 95 degrees by Monday with plenty of sunshine. Outside of a sprinkle or two possible in the afternoon periodically, really are not expecting much in the way of precipitation, especially anything that's going to take us out of this drought. So dry conditions continue for us. And that's all I've got here for the forecast, but don't go anywhere yet. We've got our top news headlines coming up just after this break.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices. Live from 14 News, this is a 14 Digital News Desk update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Of course, there is a lot happening around the tri-state today, so we're just going to go ahead and jump right in with our headlines. Of course, the big story today is that it marks the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the United States. Now, people all across the country and across the tri-state are remembering the lives lost that day. This includes some Posey County elementary students who took their remembrance ceremony out to the flagpole. Mars students gathered around the flag at half-staff to say the Pledge of Allegiance and take part in a moment of silence. School leaders say they plan to do this every year to teach the students the importance of the events, which happened before any of the students was even born.
Yeah, that's right. Now, of course, this is sort of a tradition here. Perry Township firefighters paid tribute to the 9/11 victims and first responders there. They usually hang this large American flag on the University Parkway overpass, but as you know, there's a lot of construction in that area, so they actually did it at the Logan's Roadhouse parking lot. That gets a lot of viewers as well with cars passing by, so several fire trucks were also there on display, and then crews are going to leave that up, hanging out there until 6 this evening.
Very cool to see the different ways different organizations in the tri-state have kind of their own personal way to
We've seen some viewer pictures as well of firefighters in full gear walking down the side of the interstate, like in their full suits. You know, trying to do the step challenge there. So a lot of cool tributes.
Very, very cool. Now, for our second story here, we have a 14 News update on a major road construction project. I-69 Ohio River Crossing officials say the last of those massive concrete beams will be delivered and set in Evansville this week. Officials posted this picture to Facebook saying the 84 beams are the largest concrete beams used in any construction project in the whole Midwest.
Yeah, so these beams are all used for Section 3 of the project, which is the first approach bridge on the Indiana side of the Ohio River. That's there off Waterworks Road, if you're familiar. Officials say another 92 slightly shorter beams will be installed later this fall. Work on this section of the project is almost complete. It'll be done by the end of the year. And then construction on the main bridge, of course, connecting Indiana and Kentucky, will start in 2027. But I do believe they're looking at 2030 something for the entire thing to be completely done, but they are making some very quick progress.
You know, I was going to say, and I don't drive that area near as often as you do.
It looks different every day. It does.
That's the crazy thing, especially where we knew it was going to take so long until it was done. It does seem like things are changing really fast out there.
Yeah, absolutely. I see a different sign every day, like an exit sign and like different highway identifiers to let you know, hey, you're headed into Indiana. Like they're adding things every day. So it's cool to see the progress.
I mean, always pay attention when driving, but especially it seems like things are changing a lot.
But if you're in that area, pay attention to all the new stuff. So
Now, of course, we've got those stories and a whole lot more later on tonight. 14 News at 4, 5, and 6. So join us for those, as well as 14 News at 10 a little later in the evening.
all right, thanks for watching.